What's up, Weslaco? I'm Mayor Adrian Gonzalez, and I have here today our city engineer, Mr. Albert Aldana, and we're going to talk about our drainage today, which is something very important to me. As you know, when I became mayor, that was a key thing that I wanted to focus on. As we know, we had a situation back in 2018, and it's a very sensitive subject to talk about because a lot of families were affected back in 2018, and it was a hard time for not only the residents of Weslaco, but also, us, the city of Weslaco. So, we have worked on several projects, and we continue working on these projects. So today I wanted to kind of inform our residents on what has been completed and what we have working that's gonna be able to help out our residents and our drainage situation. I know that there's the word RDF has been thrown out there a lot. So today I kind of want to explain what that is, what it's gonna do for our citizens here in Weslaco. So, Mr. Aldana, can you let us know, or can you inform us on what an RDF means and what it does for our residents?
Sure, Mayor. Glad to be here with you,
Thank you
to talk about these drainage issues. Definitely in 2018, I wasn't here at the time, but there was a major outcry. The citizens really, spoke to the city, and the city received the message loud and clear. And of course, we went out for that development of a master plan, drainage study, master plan type, and definitely 10 projects were identified that would benefit the whole city and different parts of town that have benefited throughout the course of these 10 projects, key projects that were initially. And the Drainage Advisory Board was a key entity or team, committee that was formed to kind of help us, prioritize within our city those projects. To answer your question regarding the RDF, Mayor, an RDF really stands for a regional detention facility. But what does that mean? It's a detention pond, basically a location where you store these large volumes of storm water that come in our storm system, our culvert pipes, eventually discharge into our ditches, and the ditches basically convey the storm water into the flood levees. And what these detention ponds or RDFs do is they kind of hold the water, allows us to have more capacity in our system, and detains the water there until the system is able to gradually drain out and the water recede on our system. And then the water from the detention area, from the detention pond, begins to now flow out. And it's been a big benefit, Mayor, to our community, to our city. We've, of course, constructed already 3 of them. And these 3, the first one that was constructed was the South Cemetery RDF. That kind of helped our Leisure World community that flooded it bad in 2018. Those residents were here, and as I remember the stories being told, and had a big outcry because they were impacted severely. Of course, they're in a little area, the Audubon Society. They're on Leisure World. So there was a story, and I think I saw a picture of one of the trailer homes that basically was nearly covered in water.
Yeah.
So that was a really bad event, and really. So this RDF that constructed there at the South Cemetery really helped them out. We saw the benefit in 2020 when Hurricane Hannah came around. That was a big improvement because now the water was basically only at the curb on the street. That was it.
Yeah.
And so that was a big plus for that particular one. So an RDF basically holds the water, allows our system that is there to drain out, and then the water, as the water recedes on our storm drainage system, then that RDF then allows that water stored to drain out.
So pretty much the RDF takes the water out of the street and it goes into here so that it won't go into any of the houses. I know a lot of my buddies have told me, they're like, hey man, what's that big old hole you're building there? And I kind of explain to them and tell them, the benefits of an RDF.
I think we also, had some flap gates. Yeah. Those flap gates are inserts that we put into our pipes. It's kind of like a check valve. It kind of prevents the water from backflowing into the streets. So when they discharge into the ditch, as the water rises in the ditch, it won't flow back into our low-lying areas like in streets or subdivisions. So that's been a big impact
You
as
know, and
well.
that's what I was going to ask you if you could explain about the flap gates, which you just did, and they just, you know, it's a gate that just kind of shuts it off once the water gets to a
Yeah.
certain level, so that it doesn't go back to
Yes.
our neighborhoods.
There are certain communities in our town that, they're lower, and when the water rises in the ditch, those communities or their streets are a little bit lower than the ditch, and as a result, when the water rises, it'll backflow because the water wants to always equalize and find the same level, and as it does on a lying community, there's a big impact. So these flap gates that we've been able to install in some of these low locations have benefited those communities vastly. And so those we've already had 2 phases, Mayor, of these flap gates. The first phase was ordered in 2020, and we were able to install approximately 33 of them or so, varying different sizes and various locations in town. Most recently, as you know, we completed phase 2. We were able to order phase 2 flap gates, received them, and had those installed. Our Public Works did a great job of installing those flap gates in-house.
And Mr. Orlando, there's another area that I would like to talk about, Las Brisas. You know, and thanks to our county commissioner working hand in hand with the city of Weslaco, Commissioner Fuentes, that helped us out with that project. Las Brisas was probably one of the main neighborhoods that got that was affected by these floods in 2018 and I believe 2020. Tell me a little bit more about the work that was done to help Las Brisas neighborhood.
Yeah, it was a great assistance from the Hidalgo County Drainage District #1, and of course our Hidalgo County Precinct #1 that partnered, identified a project that could benefit drastically from drainage improvements. And Las Brisas was the one that basically a big outcry that we had also from that community. Many homes that were flooded, water rising, 3-4 feet into their homes. And it was a terrible day that when we had that event. But because of that partnership and because of that desire to help that community, this project came about in which 2 basically RDFs were constructed right adjacent to Las Brisas. And we even saw the benefit already of one of them was already constructed in 2020. And we saw when Hurricane Hannah came in 2020, and impacted, most of the rain fell to the north of town. And we saw the big benefit there, how that RDF, was able to hold enough of the water so as to that it wouldn't rise up on the streets. We did have some flooding on the streets, which the streets are designed to carry some of the water.
Yeah.
But that community, we've been blessed to be able to partner with Hidalgo County and the Drainage District and identify the need and how we could help that great community of ours there.
And we've worked extremely hard, and we're going to continue working extremely hard to fix our drainage situation and improve our drainage situation. And I mean, we're not stopping here. I know that, no se me esconden. We're going to have a part 2 to talk about what's coming up and what we're working on. Let's talk about the Pleasant View drainage improvements and what's been going on over there in Pleasant View. Give us a little update on what's going on there.
Yeah. Well, again, one of the areas also impacted severely in 2018 was that area there on 10th Street, 12th Street in Pleasant View. That community right behind Weslaco East High School, that community there experienced a big impact too. So one of the projects that was identified was a brand new storm line system. And it started off from 10th Street, going along Sharon Street, going south. And then right there, the city purchased 23 acres of land in which we created this beautiful RDF. And it basically has about 150 acre feet of storage capacity there for some water runoff. And then, of course, it's a brand new channel system that tied into other channels, other ditches downstream, eventually discharged over there by Estero Llano Grande State Park, and then, of course, into the levees. And that alleviated a lot of flooding in that 10th Street, 12th Street, Weslaco East High School. Subsequent to that project, I mean, we also had Weslaco East High School Weslaco East or WISD that did a project to basically redirect the stormwater under ditches because they're right there by the baseball fields in the Weslaco East High School.
I see those.
That was used to flood significantly. So it was a holding, basically big detention pond. So we were able to ask them to divert that flow into our brand new storm system. And now that whole community is able to drain out that Brenda and 9th Street, all that area that flooded. And we were having issues every time it would rain.
Yeah, like I know that my son plays baseball for Weslaco East, so I see that, and a lot of the baseballs go that direction too when they hit foul balls. but yeah, I've seen that in the past couple of rains. I know that it's
draining out really nice.
It's draining out really well.
I've been monitoring that one, and it's really been a big impact.
And just so the residents know that with these RDF like the one on Pleasant View. I don't want to say a lot, but I'm going to give you just a little of insight where it's not just going to be a big old hole. Well, we're trying to improvise, and what we want to do is maybe utilize that for usage, for our teams that want to practice. So we want to turn it into a little park. Those are our future plans. So it's just not there. Just not a big old hole. We want to use it as maybe soccer fields and practice area for our organizations that are out there, our traveling teams, and all our football, baseball, and soccer. So it's not just a retention pond. We're going to also utilize that property for something else in the future.
That's a real nice compliment. The basic function being served, which is to be able to hold water. But when in the dry times, we have dry years, being able to use that detention pond, that area, for these kind of improvements for the quality of life in Weslaco.
Of course.
That we all seek.
Now we have that Magic Valley. Tell us a little bit about that Magic Valley.
Magic Valley Park was a simple project, but one that consisted of removal of some of these culvert pipes. They were kind of holding the water back, stormwater runoff from that area. That Lancelot Street, a Camelot community there was also being impacted by that. So what the city forces did, went in there, removed a couple of the small covered pipes and crossings that were abandoned. Basically, I guess back in the day they were used for agricultural go back and forth from one field to another, and so these over time just stayed there. So we went in there, removed them, and actually allowed the flow to flow much better, the stormwater runoff to go through the ditch system really good. So now we saw that big benefit. It was a simple fix, but not until you actually start seeing, hey, we're looking at it.
Yeah, then you start seeing the flow moving a little faster, and it's kind of like, all right, it's just not a simple thing. It was a big thing.
Yeah, so it's kind of like one of those projects that they say is a low-hanging fruit.
Yes, and I know we also had our Dollar General RDF.
Oh, yes, that was a real nice one. I like to do a shout-out to our Hidalgo Cameron Irrigation District number 9. They partnered with our public works forces to be able to excavate, and they scratched our back. We scratched theirs. We kind of the dirt they were able to utilize it for some of the ditch areas that they wanted to build up their berms and things. But they kind of helped our process of excavating. That work was done in house, and it took us a while, but it was a big benefit to the Live Oak community. That area right there on the north or southwest corner of 18th and Texas, that nice subdivision there. Big help. We saw that also in 2020. Most of these projects were in 2020, so we kind of got to see the impact of Hannah and how it served when those rain event came.
Yeah, no, a big shout out to our irrigation district. Mr. Randy Winston does a great job in helping us out and working together and in whatever that we need. So thank you, Randy. Mr. Winston, for everything that you do in helping out the city of Weslaco. I know we also have another project, the Austin Merida crossing. I know that was big for that area.
Yeah, it was. Again, that previously was a very small culvert pipe, and it wouldn't allow the storm water to continue its flow to the north. And so what we wound up doing there is kind of like partnering with the Hidalgo County, who assisted us. We provided basically all the materials, and the county was able to use their forces to to go in there, excavate, install the much larger pipes, do the canasta, that head walls on the sides, and then repave the street. And that would really help us drain out that mile 9 Sugarcane Street and get that flow going to the north.
As we're talking and we've been discussing all this drainage, it's a team effort. We have Hidalgo County, the drainage, and then we have our county commissioner that helped out a lot. We have District Number 9, which was Mr. Winston. So it's been an overall
WISD, of course.
WISD. It's been an overall team effort.
Yes,
to
it
get
has
this
been,
done.
Mayor. It really has.
Yeah. So I like I said, I want to thank everybody that was involved in helping. Because again, this is our city. And it can't be done just by us. We have to team up. And I thank everybody that was involved the past couple of years in helping us make this possible and making it easier for us as well.
Yes.
It's a team effort.
It's been great. We've come a long ways, definitely from 2018 with all these projects that we've completed thus far. And there's a lot of work to do yet. But I mean, we can pause to kind of acknowledge the work that has been done and the benefits to our community. We're all, thankful that, yes, we haven't had a big one like we did in 2018 and 2020. And we've been blessed with good weather and, even most recently, Mayor, right? We had that Hurricane Barrel. That
we were scared. We were a little nervous there.
Yeah, a little nervous.
But Mr. Alon, can you let us know? I know that we want to be transparent to the citizens, and can you let the citizens know on how they can go in and check everything that the list of all our projects and where they're at?
Sure, Mayor. Most recently, we've been able to work on using GIS platform, being able to use on a drainage creation of this drainage dashboard. And what this drainage dashboard is basically a summary of a map that shows us geographically the projects that we've done and completed. And if you go into the drainage dashboard located on our city website and within the engineering webpage, you can find a link there for a drainage dashboard that'll basically lead you to a GIS map that'll basically summarize each of the projects that we've talked about in this podcast. And it's great because we're still working with it and you're trying to enhance it. It's just an initial onset, but it gives you the basic information that you need to see what some of the improvements are. It does show you the flap gate locations where they've been installed. And we're looking at trying to improve it now to do what's coming next, those kind of projects that we're looking at accomplishing on our next round of projects.
Well, again, we just we want to be transparent with our citizens, and so they can go out there and be able to check it out for themselves, and see what's out there and see what we're working on, what's been completed, and where we're at with every project that we're working on. I know this podcast has kind of been a little longer than usual, but I just think that it's important, especially when it comes to drainage. It's really important. That's my on the top priority list of what to do as me, as being the mayor here, of the city of Weslaco, because again, it affected a lot of people. But again, thank you for sticking around and listening to our podcast and all this information. I know it's a lot, but for me, it's important that our citizens know what we're working on and what we're going to continue working on to improve our drainage. So again, stay tuned for part 2 as we can go, and we're going to go into what to expect in the next couple of years, and not only years, but it's not something that happens overnight.
Yeah.
But one thing I say is I promise to you guys that I am going to work extremely hard and making sure that our drainage situation isn't, it gets improved and that we finish what we started. For me, again, that is my top of the list priority to do, for the citizens of Weslaco and for the city of Weslaco, not only mine, but for the rest of the commission, So again, Mr. Aldana, thank you for joining us here today. Mayor. City of Weslaco, thank you for listening in and sticking around to hear what's going on in the city of Weslaco. So till next time, we'll see you, and we're here to inform. Thank you City of Weslaco, and tune in for part 2. Thank you.